So I was hoping 2026 was going to be a lot kinder and gentler to me than the last half of 2025 was. And unfortunately, it doesn't look like that's the case. Hi friends, I'm Diane. I'm 58 years old, postmenopausal, and I've been on a GLP-1 medication for just over 3 years, and I've lost just over 100 pounds. If you're new to my channel, welcome. And if you've been here before, welcome back. So if you happen to have seen my last video, I went into pretty significant detail about what's been going on in my life the past 6 months. Just as a quick recap, I had one cat pass away, I had one of our dogs pass away, a second cat was in and out of the emergency ER during the course of a couple weeks. He's doing better. So the past few months have been really rough. I have gained weight back, even though I'm on 12.5 milligrams of Mounjaro. I gained back about 15 pounds. I had lost about 4 or 5 of those, and I've gained about 2 or 3 of those back. Things have been still not great, and I'll talk about that a little bit. It's been kind of crazy the beginning of this year. Unfortunately, my uncle passed away unexpectedly. I've been kind of on the road this week, traveling to the funeral, spending time with my family, helping my cousin navigate life without a parent, and it's been a lot. I have not been eating well because, like I said, I've been on the road, I've been running around, I have not been working out. We played pickleball a couple times. In fact, we're gonna play pickleball today. I'm at work right now. It's a Saturday, I'm at work. I had to take a bunch of time off of work to take care of all of this stuff, and so I'm trying to get caught up, get my work life back in order. So yeah, so it's been, this past week in particular has been really crazy. I guess not this past Thursday, but the Thursday before, I got a phone call from my cousin saying that my uncle had passed and that she wasn't sure what she should be doing. She's never been through this before. So I kind of walked her through it because unfortunately I have much too much experience with dealing with this kind of stuff. Basically told her what she needed, call the funeral home, make the arrangements, all of that. That was, let's see, that was not this past Thursday, the Thursday before. So that Friday, she went to the funeral home, made the arrangements, and she called me and told me what everything was. And come to find out, she had made the funeral for the following Tuesday, this past Tuesday. And I had an appointment with my endocrinologist. So it was my 6-month follow-up, and I had planned to talk to him about changing my dose and Mounjaro and all this stuff, and I'm like, okay, well, I've got to reschedule that. So Friday I called to reschedule it, and I spoke to someone there and explained the situation, that I had to go out of state for a funeral. And so she said she canceled it, and she gave me another appointment. And something told me to check the patient portal. I've also had issues with this particular doctor before, this doctor's office. I made an appointment once. They gave me an appointment card. I showed up and they didn't have me on the books as having an appointment, but they took me anyway because I had the appointment card. So I called Friday and I had done all of that. So I checked the patient portal over the weekend, and it still had my appointment for Tuesday listed, and it did not have this later appointment listed. And I'm like, okay. So the weekend I was running around. I had to go buy some clothes to wear because I really don't have anything that would be appropriate for a funeral. And I was just trying to get all my ducks in order because I knew I was going to have to go to New Jersey for a couple of days, including getting the house ready, writing out instructions for Bob so he could take care of Charlie, who's our cat, needs medication 3 times a day. So I was just trying to get my ish in order. And so Monday, I had already had an appointment to get an oil change on my car. My car is dying, and I'm milking it for all it's worth. So I went and got an oil change done, and I'm like, I need to straighten out this endocrinology appointment because I don't want to get charged for a no-show. So I went to the office. Good thing I did. Went up to the desk, spoke to the woman there, and said, I called Friday to change my appointment. I'm supposed to have an appointment tomorrow to change it because I have a funeral out of state I have to go to. And she's like, okay. She's like, we still have you in for tomorrow. And I'm like, yeah, we need to cancel that. So she's like, okay. So she canceled that. And unfortunately, the first appointment that they had available is April 28th. This doctor is very popular. There's not a lot of endocrinologists in the area, and he really is the best. I'm like, well, I guess I have to take that appointment. And she's like, well, you can call like every week and see if we have any cancellations. I'm like, okay. I said, can you give me an appointment card? She did. So I went home and I checked the patient portal. My appointment for April is in there. The appointment for last Tuesday is not. I leave the endocrinologist's office and I get maybe 5 miles down the road and my pharmacy calls. And I'm like, all right. So I pull over and I call the pharmacy back, and the pharmacist tells me that they're no longer carrying my thyroid medication. Now, this had happened once before. I think last summer I was on Unithroid for I don't know how many years. And I was getting it through my supermarket pharmacy. I used to be at CVS, but they would screw everything up, so I just moved everything to the grocery store pharmacy. And last summer they told me they were no longer carrying Unithroid. So that spurred a whole flurry of activity with me and the endocrinologist trying to get a new script and all this other stuff. So I got a new script. I think it's for Levoxyl. So I called the pharmacist on Monday and he says, we're not carrying that anymore. I'm like, okay. He's like, I can call around. He says, I can call Target because there was a Target across the way. And he says, I can call around to see if I can find someplace else that has it. And I'm like, okay. So I get off the phone with him and I'm like, where else can I get this medication? 2 places came to my mind. Mark Cuban's prescription drug company, whatever. I don't even know what it's called. And Amazon Pharmacy. So I looked up Amazon Pharmacy. And they had it. They had my dose. They had it in stock and everything else. So the pharmacist called me back and he said, well, Target doesn't carry it. He said they thought that maybe CVS would carry it. I'm like, I'm not going back to CVS. So I had to go through. I told him that I was going to try Amazon Pharmacy. He's like, yeah, sure. He goes, they'll fax me something. I'll send it back. So it took a couple of days because the doctor also had to sign off on it, but I eventually got it worked out. So now I'm getting 1 medication from Amazon Pharmacy, everything else from the Stop and Shop Pharmacy, and it's just like, and I'm leaving in a few hours for to go to New Jersey, and I'm like, I really don't need this right now. Please stop. Got it all sorted out, got everything packed, got everything in my car that I needed to do. Got up at 4:30 Tuesday morning, and I drove to New Jersey. Now, I live on Long Island, and if you're not familiar with the geography, between Long Island and New Jersey is New York City. So I basically have to drive through New York City to get to New Jersey. And so I got up at 4:30 in the morning. I got dressed, did my makeup, did my hair, left the house at 6 a.m. and drove to New York City. Well, particularly Queens and the Bronx. I got to New Jersey early, which was fine because I would have rather gotten there 2 hours early than been panicking, stuck in traffic an hour or so later. So since I had time, I went to the cemetery where my uncle's was going to be buried that day. My parents are buried there. My grandparents are buried there. So I went and I visited my parents and my grandparents. My cousin had tried to get my uncle in that same section where my parents and grandparents are buried, but unfortunately they didn't have anything available. So they had a spot available across the way. And so I actually, while I was visiting my parents, saw the tent where they were going to do the burial. So I saw where my uncle was going to be buried ahead of time, and it was perfect. So I hung out at the cemetery for a while until it was time to go to the funeral home. I went to the funeral home, the service. We went back to the cemetery, buried my uncle, and my cousins wanted to see my grandparents, and they wanted to see my parents. So we walked over, and they were like, "Wow, this is perfect. You know, my uncle's buried." You know, we made a joke because my mom and my uncle would bicker, and so my cousin had said that she knew he wanted to be close to them, but not too close. So this worked out perfectly. You know, it was hard with my uncle passing because we were very close. I would not be here if it wasn't for my uncle, to be honest with you, because my uncle and my dad were stationed together when they were in the Air Force, and my uncle introduced my father to my mother. So without my uncle, I would not be here. So it was very emotional. It was hard. After the funeral, we went to a restaurant and had a lovely meal and got to hang out with my family, which I don't get to do often enough because we're kind of spread out. You know, I'm the only one on Long Island. Most of my cousins still live in New Jersey. I have a cousin in Virginia. I have one aunt and uncle from that side of the family who are still with us, and they live in Delaware. It seems like the only time we see each other these days is at a funeral, but talking with my cousins, we've kind of decided that maybe this summer we'll try to get together and hang out, make it a happy occasion, or at least get together when it's not a sad occasion. So Tuesday night, I stayed with one of my cousins out in northwestern New Jersey. He and I stayed up till 11:30 at night talking about everything and everything. He and I were always close. We're only 8 months apart. He's 8 months older than me, and his dad died when he was 7 or 8, and his mom moved in with my grandparents, and we would always go up on the weekends, everybody, the whole family, we would go up and hang out at my grandparents' house every Sunday. We'd go have Sunday dinner with them. So he and I were always very close, and so we hung out, and so I stayed over, and then Tuesday morning I got up and drove to my other cousin's house. She wanted some help and some advice on what the next steps of things to do in terms of my uncle's estate, and she's the executrix, and she's an only child like me, and so she wanted some advice on what she needs to do now to start the ball in motion to take care of his estate and settle his affairs. So we sat and we talked about that, and then we spent some time just chit-chatting and things like that, which was good. Her and I are also very close. She is 16 years younger than me, but I lived with that uncle for a period of years after college, and my uncle had divorced, and so she would come on the weekends, so I would spend a lot of time with her. And when she called to tell me about my uncle, she said that she'd always considered me her big sister. So, of course, you know, it made me emotional, and she has always been like my little sis. I want to help her any way we can. And in fact, when she called to tell me about my uncle, I had talked to her a couple of times that night, and I think the second time I talked to her, I had talked to my other cousins, and we all said, you know, whatever she needs, we'll do. So when I talked to her, I said, you know, we got you, kid. she's not a kid, she's 40 years old. I said, we got you, whatever you need, we're here, just ask. So that's the one good thing about that my family, is that if there's a crisis or there's a situation, we all come together, we help each other out. And we learned that from our parents and our grandparents, and it's nice to see that that was instilled in us all, and that we all look out for each other. And so we're going to look out for her and help her out. And my one cousin said, my uncle has a house down in South Jersey, and so she's going to have to clean it out and sell it. And we all said that we'd come help her if she needs it. I mean, it's a trek for me, but I'll do it because I love my uncle, I love her. That's what we do, you know. So family, that's what we do. Okay, so after I met with her, coming back on Wednesday afternoon, I started hearing and feeling a vibration in my car. So I got home okay. I timed it perfectly. There was almost no traffic. Zoomed right home. I mean, it still took me an hour and a half, but zoomed right home. And I called the garage, and made an appointment for Friday for my car because it's making this noise and there's a vibration. So I took the car in Friday, which was yesterday. Today's Saturday. And I've got 2 bent rims and 2 tires. I need two new tires. This car. Like I said, I got to keep it running. Yeah, so next week I have to take it back. They had to order the parts. They had to order the rims, and so the rims won't be in until next week. So I got to take that in, plunk more money into the car. Like I said, 2026 is starting off with a bang, and not in a good way, but we'll get through it. You know, been through worse. It's just more of an annoyance now. Yeah, I'm hoping after I get the car fixed that things will finally settle down, because I just feel like I've been running in circles for the past 6-7 months, and I would really like a break. So as far as my weight loss is going, it's not going at all. I've been on the run, as you can tell, for the past week, 10 days. Not been eating well. I haven't had time to meal prep, to even plan to meal prep. I haven't had time I haven't been to the gym since it was great. Between Christmas and New Year's, I was off from work. I went to the gym every day. I felt great. I was getting myself back together. I was like, and then it all fell apart again. So hopefully this week I can start going back to the gym. So I haven't been working out other than a couple of times we played pickleball. Because I've been on the road and running around, I've been eating too much processed food, and I'm feeling it. I feel like crap. Drinking too many of my calories, and by that I don't mean alcohol. I mean too many chai lattes from Starbucks and, you know, things like that. So I need to cut all that out and just make the protein chai lattes that I drink, which are lower in calories and no sugar and all that stuff. I need to get meal prepping again. I need to come up with a plan. And I need to kickstart this weight loss again. Like I said, like I've mentioned before, I don't really feel like the 12.5 is giving me any appetite suppression. The food noise is definitely back. That was something I was going to talk to my endocrinologist about this week, and hopefully go up in dose to 15 milligrams of Mounjaro. But, I mean, I could call him and see if he'll put me on 15, but dealing with his office can be a pain sometimes. So I think I'm just going to wait till my appointment. If I can get in earlier, I will try to, but otherwise I'll just wait till April and try to increase the dose. My blood work looks great. It is working. The Mounjaro is working. My A1C is great. You know, all of my blood levels are good. So it is working in terms of that. Inflammation is still down, things like that. It's just the appetite suppression, I'm getting nothing. So I'm hoping that going up to 15 will help with that, but who knows? It may not. I seem to have done better on the lower doses than I have on the higher doses. So I don't know if that means I need to scale back or scale up, but I need to figure this out, because I still have a significant amount of weight I want to lose. And a lot of that is my own fault, and I know that. And I need to kick my own butt and get my diet in check. And just to prove that, yes, this drug is wonderful and it helps you lose weight, but you still have to do the work. And I haven't been doing the work, so I'm not losing weight. And so that's all on me. That's 100% on my shoulders. And I take full responsibility for that. So I need to get myself back in order. I know my voice sounds froggy. I'm sorry. I apologize for that. I have spent more time talking in the past week to family members and things like that than I do over the course of like a month. I don't talk that much. Yeah, it doesn't sound good. So I apologize. I should have put that up front. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I sound like this because I can hear it and it sounds terrible. So that's pretty much all I have for you this week. This was not the video I was planning on making. I have a couple of ideas in percolating in my head of things I want to do. One video I wanted to do at the beginning of this year, I'm still going to do, but it's going to be a little outdated, but that's okay. I'm still going to do it, but I'm not sure when I can film that. I've got to get through this week and see when I have time that I'm going to film that one. And I've got a couple other ideas of things I want to film. So when I was going through the past 6 months, when I was going through all of the crap I was going through, I didn't have any ideas for videos. That's how entrenched in just getting through each day I was. But now the ideas are starting to come back. So I have some ideas for a couple of videos I want to do. So I just got to find the time to do them. Hopefully things will quiet down this week and I can do that. If you've hung in this long, thank you for listening to my latest sob story. I swear it's not going to always be like this. Things will get better and my videos will be more positive. I promise. I need life to stop lifing. Just give me a chance to take a breath. I want to know how you're doing. Down in the comments, how is your 2026 going so far? Give me some positivity. I want to hear some positivity. I want to hear people who have been nailing their diet and nailing their workouts. And if you're like me and having a rough go of it, comment, post that too, because we can all use some support and I'm happy to provide any support to anyone who needs it. So we got to get through all of this together. And we do that by helping each other and sharing and, lifting others up when we're feeling great and, getting support from others when we're not feeling so great. I hope you're doing well. I hope you have a great week. And I will talk to you again soon. Take care of yourself. And I'll see you on the next one.
Give a little bit of loving, just a little bit the real.